Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and happy holidays from the 11th inning stretch. My name is Paul Epi, and as usual, I am joined by
Alex Schneider.
Alex. Good to talk to you again. It's been at least a week and a half, probably closer to 2 weeks since we last talked. We released that replay podcast last week, but we recorded that a long time ago. So we are finally here talking again. We have some odds and ends to pick up on. It's a really slow time in the league right now because it's the middle of December, it's Christmas time, it's New Year's time. Winter meetings are over with. People are just kind of sitting on their hands for the time being, waiting for pitchers and catchers to report here in February.
Yep, it's a lot of things that are going on right now are kind of the older players that are just looking for a home and want to get somewhere before the holiday season, so they kind of know where they're playing next year. So that's really about it. With a little, we'll get into it in a little bit, but with a little news out of Cardinal camp, kind of, sorta.
It's well, we'll get there. But just a couple odds and ends. It was announced today, and by the way, we are recording this on December 20th. Not sure when we're going to release it, but it'll be out eventually. So today's December 20th, and it was announced today that Clay Buchholz was traded to the Philadelphia Phillies for a minor league second baseman from the Phillies franchise. It was announced today, and there's not any statistics or me for anything to rattle off about Buchholz. He's 32 years old. The Red Sox picked up Buchholz's $13.5 million option for the 2017 season, which, if you know anything about him, is kind of an expensive pickup because he hasn't been that good.
Yeah, basically the Red Sox did exactly what the Cardinals did: picked up an option on a pitcher and then shipped him off.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Probably what it was the same thing as the Cardinals. You pick up the option, you have that extra pitching if you need it. If you don't get him anywhere, but if somebody calls or if you call somebody and they're willing to listen, then you can ship them off and maybe get some players out of it. That's all it is. But I think there's more to this actually than kind of what I originally thought. Just thinking about it now, the Phillies were in a playoff hunt for a majority of good last season.
They weren't out of it by the time June hit. I mean, they were within reach. I'm not going to say within reach, but they were within shouting distance of the wild card by the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what I'm saying is so they have they picked up Jeremy Hellickson. They still have him because he hasn't been traded yet as of yet, which I don't think he will.
No.
He hasn't been traded. They have Vince Velasquez, who has shown signs of pitching very well, but has also shown signs of pitching very bad.
Odubel Herrera is a very formidable outfielder.
Yeah. Odubel Herrera was an
Franco.
early front runner for MVP. Maikel Franco. Their shortstop Galvis, he's been there forever, and he's good. I mean, he's a scrappy player. Ryan Howard, is he off the team now?
He's got to be off the team. I mean, they have been wanting to get rid of him for so long that you have to think the first chance they have to get to dump him, well, you got to take it.
Well, I don't, because I thought last year was his last year. I thought he was retiring.
Let me look into that while you.
Okay, so for the most part, they probably have an average team. I would say maybe a little bit above average, but not too much. And I think with adding another pitching piece, may add, because Buchholz is an okay pitcher. He's had some down years, but I mean,
sorry to interrupt, but Ryan Howard is going to be around for 2017. He has a $10 million left on his salary for the Phillies. So.
Oh, okay. So you'll have Ryan Howard there, which miraculously he actually showed signs of playing very well last year, but his time at first base was back down a lot last year. So he split time, I think, with two other people at first base. So I think that I'm not making a bold prediction and saying that the Phillies are going to make it to the playoffs, because I don't think that's going to happen. But I think that they're making the right moves to maybe, if the Mets and the Nationals get off to a slow start like they did last year, maybe make a push to maybe get some games up on them and
Sure.
maybe at least make them work for it.
And quick side note, the Phillies is probably the team we've talked about the least on this show since we started back in March. We haven't discussed them. They really have not been worth discussing, to be honest with you. Sorry, Phillies fans. There are pieces. They're good pieces, but they're just not worth talking about right now. I really like Aaron Nola, I really like Herrera, and I really like Franco. And they'll make their noise here, if not next season, within 2 seasons. But, this past season wasn't much for them, so we hadn't had any need to discuss them. But hey, congratulations to the Phillies. You finally got some airtime on our show, and you have Clay Buchholz, and maybe he can turn things around. Maybe he's just one of those change of scenery guys. Who knows?
Yeah, what it takes for the Phillies, I think, to get good is going to be they need one big name person to sign with them and show other teams or show other players that are free agents, hey, sign here. This is a good fit. I mean, they probably need a really good pitcher, top line pitcher, and probably a power hitting first baseman in order to maybe draw some interest from other players.
I'm not sure who's in that bullpen. I mean, they're going to need a bunch of bullpen pieces probably too.
Yeah, but for instance, maybe like just from this season, not that they're going to do it, but you're talking maybe like a Matt Wieters as their catcher. Just signing a 2-3 year deal just to kind of get by until he's like 33, where he can do other things. You're talking like something like that. Just a player.
Some sort of veteran presence. And while you currently leave me and keep me talking here, thanks, Alex. I'm going to briefly discuss the other signing. It's a minor signing, but I'm going to discuss it real quick. The Pirates signed Daniel Hudson to a 2-year, $11 million contract. He was previously with the Arizona Diamondbacks. I can't talk today either. And in 2016, he appeared in 70 games, mainly as a relief pitcher, obviously. And he had a 5.22 ERA and 60 innings pitched with a 3-2 record and a 1.4 WHIP. So it's not a sexy signing by the Pirates by any stretch of the imagination. He'll probably be like one of those Ivan Nova types that they had last year, where if they can put him in the rotation, they will. But otherwise, he's going to be a straight bullpen piece. So, Alex, as you rejoin me here, I want to get your thoughts on Daniel Hudson signing with the Pirates.
I brought that up to you because we're kind of reaching for straws, but it directly affects the Cardinals because it's the Pirates. But is it really news?
No, it's not news. And I was just rattling off his stats, and last year he appeared in 70 games, and he had a 5.22 ERA with a 1.4 WHIP. I mean, that's not worth discussing in my opinion. But the Pirates have a history of sort of turning around these no-name, older-ish pitchers. Hudson's not old, but no-name pitchers, and turning them around into something. They did it with Ivan Nova briefly last year.
Yeah, right now the Pirates are kind of one of those teams that could they make a run to get in it? Sure. You have a big hill to climb with the Cardinals making the move they did in Dexter Fowler, and you have the Cubs who didn't have to make any moves, and they traded for Wade Davis.
And they got John Jay. I mean, they're doing just fine. They've had one of the better off seasons in my opinion.
Yeah, a very quiet offseason. John Jay is probably going to start for them in center field, I would assume. So the Pirates now are one of those teams where, hey, we have some spots to fill to put out a team for our fans. May not be in anything, but we have spots open. We're willing to sign players that need to be signed. Come talk to us. They were the big thing of the offseason was they were wanting to trade Andrew McCutchen, and that never got done because what they were wanting was what am I trying to say? Young players in the minor leagues. They wanted minor league pieces that eventually would come up and play.
Can you imagine knowing what the White Sox got for Adam Eaton? Can you imagine what would be fetched for Andrew McCutchen? Goodness.
No. I mean, but, we kind of talked about this, yesterday? I called you, was asking you some questions about some school stuff. Yes, did the Nats gave up quality, a lot of pieces for the Adam Eaton. But if you look at it, Lucas Giolito, by all means, is going to get farther than I ever will, And he was supposed to be the next stud, like the next, basically, like the next Clayton Kershaw, just from the right side. He was supposed to be that guy, but he has been declining and had a pretty bad start to his professional career. Now, that's not to say that he won't be better.
He's 22, let's be fair.
Exactly.
And he appeared in 6 games last year. So I'm not too worried about it.
21.2 innings or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, in a 6 and almost a 7 ERA. I'm not worried about him. He's 22.
But Andrew McCutchen definitely wants to play for a contender. Yeah, definitely. And he'd love to be a Pirate. He says, I want to be a Pirate for my entire career. Well, that's fine. But do you want to win something? Do you want to win a championship? Because I don't think you're going to do it by the end of your career in Pittsburgh. Now, I could be wrong. This could be, Daniel Hudson come out next year and win a Cy Young. Dude, I don't know. I don't see it happening.
Weirder things have happened.
Yeah. So it's not really news, but I think it's not news directly with the Daniel Hudson, but I think it's news for players that are still looking for homes. Hey, we have spots open. Come play for us. I think it's something like that, And here's the thing, too, is Andrew McCutchen's defense in center field has been declining slowly, but has been declining in center field. But could you imagine watching, like, Starling Marte play center and then moving Andrew McCutchen to a corner?
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord. Where he can focus less on defense but more on his bat and be a potential 3 or 4 hole hitter that could hit 30, 35 bombs in a season. Oh, man. That would just be ridiculous. But, no, I don't think the Daniel Hudson thing directly, like I said, is news, but I think it's news to players that are still looking for homes. Like Jason Hamill. Jason Hamill still isn't signed. Still an Ivan Nova who played for them last year. Players like that may, I want to kind of test the free agent market, but the Bucks need players and I need money. I don't have a job, so let's go there. Something like that. I think that's what it is. But, I think the Daniel Hudson move may work out, but it may not.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We're ready to pivot to the Cardinals?
Yeah. I mean, that's...
Yeah, not a whole lot to discuss. They've been quiet since signing Dexter Fowler, except for the fact that they signed Eric Fryer to a minor league contract officially, but he'll be on the major league roster once some spots get cleared up for him. He was the backup catcher for the Cardinals for a couple months last year, and he was really good. I mean, he was surprisingly solid with a bat in his hands, and he was very formidable with him being behind the plate. But then he was released by the Cardinals when Brian Pena came back from his injury.
Stupid.
Which is, that's a whole different discussion. And then the Pirates picked him up, and he was doing okay for the Pirates, but the Pirates dropped him after this past season. And then, sure enough, hey, he's back in St. Louis.
Brian Pena, this is the thing, is if you're a switch hitter, or if you're a power-hitting left-handed bat, you literally are going to get contracts just because of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's literally why Brian Pena got a contract, because he's a switch hitter. That's it. I mean, that was the only reason he even got a contract.
I think I'm a bit surprised that there's not more people trying to take up the switch hitting and then just trying to maybe extend their careers or just make money and sign a contract with a team like the Pirates, like you said. It's like, no one's going to take me? Well, I'm going to bat from the other side.
Here's the thing, and I agree with that, because I think that all Major League players do dabble a little bit from both sides, but the art of switch hitting is like the art of the knuckleball. The knuckleball you could probably pick up a little bit, but you have to be throwing it at a young age, just like switch hitting. You have to be switch hitting at a young age. You can't just all of a sudden one day go, you know what, I'm right-handed, but nobody's signing me. Hey, let's see if I can do it lefty too, and then go out and take some hacks. And that's like Tim Tebow picking up a bat after 15 years. He's never touched a bat, So, yeah, is he getting a contract by the Mets? Yes, but it's a total
fluke.
Yeah. If he makes it, great. Cool. But,
He's not going to.
The chances of him making it are very slim. Very, very slim. Matter of fact, I saw him on a freaking college football analyst thing the other day. Like, I was like, your baseball career is hurting so bad you had to go back to doing analyst stuff. So, I
want to raise this. Go ahead.
I didn't like the Brian Pena signing. I did at first. I'm like, oh, great, backup catcher. Cool, cool, cool. And then Eric Fryer came, and Brian Pena was still there. And I'm like, why haven't you dropped Brian Pena yet? Keep Fryer, drop Pena. And all of a sudden, Pena comes back.
They did the exact opposite. They dropped Fryer.
Wickets came back.
Yeah.
And he never played a freaking game for the Cardinals.
I was going to say, yeah, did Pena ever have an actual at-bat?
He never played a freaking game.
Let me see here. I remember him not playing, but I wonder if he even got like a pinch hitting at bat.
Probably not.
He had 14 plate appearances.
Wow.
What did he do? Hits. He had 2 hits, a double, and a walk, and 2 strikeouts. He had 3 total bases.
Wow.
And 14 at bats. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay, so now the Cardinals have got rid of Brian Pena. He's gone. Eric Fryer's back. I think this is a great move for the Cardinals. And it's a great small move because now, on what we were just talking about, because Paul asked me the question, do I like Carson Kelly or Fryer backing up Yadi? Here's the answer to that, in my opinion. Yadier Molina, I think it is on average, I believe, is he plays 10 out of 11 games on average. Like last year, that was his numbers. That's a whole lot of games. So if that's the case, you're talking 1 out of 11 games, somebody else is getting a start. I don't want Carson Kelly playing 1 out of 11 days. He's young. He needs to play like every day. So, yes, I think Eric Fryer's the better thing right now. Which Paul then said, well, then Yadi can't teach him. Which, yeah, that is true. But I think a lot of what it is Yadi can tell somebody a lot of things, and it may not work. I think what you have to do as a catcher, like you do as any baseball player, you have to go out and find what works for you. Now, Yadi can definitely tell him, hey, this is what you need to know about each pitcher, blah, 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 blah. He's got to learn that because he can't change the way that pitchers work. So he has to learn that, which, yeah, that kind of sucks. But I think when the Cardinals start taking back some of Yadier Molina's time behind the plate, that's when Carson Kelly becomes your backup catcher. Right now, with only needing a backup catcher 1 out of 11 starts on an average, Eric Fryer's going to do a great job of doing that. I have no problem putting him back there. But I want Carson Kelly playing every at-bat that he can, and he can do that in AAA. That's where he's going to get it done.
I do think Kelly should be the backup because, like you said, I mean, look, no one's going to replace Yadier Molina. Those shoes are too big to fill. It's not going to happen. But if you can have him, he might. I don't know. I don't know his shoe size.
Making fun of him.
Jeez. I don't know his shoe size. But if you can have somebody learn from the best, that's going to make him pretty darn good. And I want Carson Kelly learning from Yadier Molina as much as he possibly can. And if he's going to play down in Memphis, he's not going to be learning from Yadier Molina. And that's not making him better, in my opinion. Your opinion of making him better is having him play every day. And that is usually the case. I think we can all agree with that. But when you have a chance to learn from a guy like Yadier Molina, I think you have to take it for as long as you can. Be his protege and be his understudy and take it and soak it all in because it's going to be your job here in a couple seasons. And if Yadier Molina gets hurt, well, it's going to be Carson Kelly's job, probably.
Well, and that's the thing too. If Yadi gets hurt, what you'll probably see is Eric Fryer will probably start a couple games. Let Carson Kelly come up, kind of get used to the whole major league scene. But he's going to be, Yadier Molina, I'll tell you what, and I've seen it before watching TV or being even at a game, Yadier Molina is going to be right next to Carson Kelly the entire way.
Of course.
I mean, he's going to be like a dog. I mean that as the nicest way possible. He's going to be right on his hip everywhere that Kelly goes. They're going to have lockers, bam, right next to one another. That's how it happens. But I think if Yadier Molina gets to the point where on an average he's playing like maybe 8 out of 11 days, you'll see Carson Kelly. Once it backs up from 10 or 11, what is that? How many games is that? You're talking
what?
22 games. He's playing 2 games. I mean, like, how many on average games is that? What's 162 divided by 11? So, sorry about that. We had just found out that if you take the numbers on average, let's say if Yachty has the same amount of time as he did this upcoming year as he did last year, that only leaves like 16 games for Carson Kelly to play a year on an average. Now, it would probably be more than that, but just breaking it down from a number standpoint, that's the numbers you're looking at for Carson Kelly to play behind Yadier Molina as of now, as of last year's numbers. I don't think that the 16 games, even 20 games, I don't think 20 games per year is going to be enough to keep Carson Kelly sharp. Now, if they wanted to send him down to Memphis, he plays all year down there, blah, 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 blah. Yadier Molina has a healthy season, Eric Fryer's back up, and they want to bring Carson Kelly up with September call-ups, do it. Because that's what they did last year, and I think that was a great move.
That's probably what's going to happen unless Molina gets hurt.
Exactly. So what you get is you get Carson Kelly with Yadier Molina in spring training, which, yes, isn't a whole lot of time, but Yadier Molina shows up early. So you're talking that's better than nothing anyway. So Carson Kelly's getting all that knowledge, blah, blah, blah. He's going to go probably apply that in AAA. That knowledge he got from Yachty, he's going to He's going to apply that in AAA, and he's going to do fine. He's going to do good things. Then, season goes along. Carson Kelly probably knows his role. He's going to come up in September. Now, he may get a couple spot starts. Depending on where the Cardinals are at in the playoff race, he might get a couple starts thrown in there. Just like, here, go out, play a Major League game, and let's see how it goes. But I'll tell you what, after every inning, Yadier Molina is going to be the first one to greet him at the dugout. He's like, okay, this is what you got to go from here. Blah, 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 blah. And then Carson Kelly's going to be like, cool, let's go. And he's going to go out and he's going to do his job. I just don't think that even 20 games a year is enough to keep Carson Kelly sharp. That's my opinion. Now, I totally understand what you're saying. And
I'll advocate.
Let Yadier Molina just bark into his ear and just let him soak it all in. But like I said, there's only so much that you can learn that you can apply directly that fits your game style.
And then it's also up to you to actually go out and do it. And that is a big part of it. Let's not be mistaken. If you learn everything, well, that's great, but you actually have to go out and do it. And apply that knowledge. I just think that having him sent down the entire season, except for 1 month, isn't helpful. I mean, it's just two different perspectives. I would like for Carson Kelly to be the best, so I want him to learn from the best. But I can certainly understand why you want him to have the playing time. That's certainly that would be your position. I would agree with 95% of the time, but when you have the chance to learn from Yadier Molina, you got to do it. Now, if he was learning from an average catcher, well, I probably would just want him down there instead of sitting on the bench. But if that's Yadier Molina, I would like to see him up, but I understand that's probably not going to happen. And that's okay. That's fine. And
now let's think of it, too. I was thinking at first that Carson Kelly's probably 25, 26, something around there.
He's 22.
No, he's 22. So he has plenty of time. I still think he's young. If he was 25, 26, I'd say by all means, bring him up. Let him play. I think 22 is still a young enough age where he needs to be playing every day. Because up until he'd probably sit behind Yachty, he is playing every day. He's used to playing every single day, getting in that routine of, okay, I have this pitcher, blah, 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 blah. But he's a converted catcher, actually.
Is he really?
Yeah, which is shocking because he's probably one of the better catching prospects in the league. Mm-hmm. Because the dude from the Yankees, I consider him still a prospect until he puts in a full season in the majors. So he's probably number one. Not probably, he is number one.
Yeah.
Kyle Schwarber is no longer a prospect, and I'd really like to see what they're going to do with him, if they're going to keep him in the outfield or let him catch. I say let him catch, but a whole other subject for another day. That's all I have on the Carson Kelly and Yachty.
Yeah. Let's
Or
get to
Fryer
your.
thing.
Do you have a topic? Go right ahead.
So my topic is, like I said, there's kind of some news out of Cardinal camp other than the Eric Fryer deal, which was a good deal. And that is a lot of ties and a lot of people. Here's the thing: you can know when something's going to happen in Cardinal camp. Usually, if everybody talking about the Cardinals is only talking about one person, and they've only been talking about Edwin Encarnacion for months. It was Dexter Fowler, Dexter Fowler, Dexter Fowler, Dexter Fowler. Boom. Okay, we got Dexter Fowler. Okay, now who's next? There are some pieces that would have to move in order to sign Edwin Encarnacion. You're talking Matt Carpenter would have to move back to third, probably trading Peralta somewhere else. Peralta's an everyday player. He wants to play every day. He probably does not want to be a bench piece because he's going to be. There's Jerko too. So yes, does it help your lineup?
Oh goodness,
yes. Oh yes.
Can you imagine a top four of Fowler, Carpenter, Diaz, and Encarnacion? Oh.
And then after that, you have Piscotty.
Yeah.
Who was like the best all-around hitter last year for them. But here's the thing too: is I think if you sign Edwin Encarnacion, it gives the Cardinals a reason to keep Matt Adams. I'm very high on Matt Adams. I think Matt Adams has still a ton of upside, and will be the starting first baseman in a few years. I think that that's still possible, and that allows you to keep him because Matt Carpenter doesn't want to play first base if he's playing third every day. When he gets an off day, well, he's getting an off day. He's not going to play first. So I think that gives you a reason to keep Matt Adams, but I think it gives you a reason to maybe even trade Jed Jerko or Johnny Peralta. But a lot of news is coming out that the Cardinals are in talks or directed at Edwin Encarnacion. What are your thoughts about that, Paul? Do you think that would be a good signing, or do you think that with the signing that brings a lot of troubles as to figure out what to do with the team?
Well, it does bring a lot of troubles to figure out what to do with the team. Unless you move Matt Adams or Peralta or Jerko, I don't think you can sign him. The Cardinals have the money to. If they wanted him, they could certainly make him a part of their team. There's two problems. One, that there's no DH. He's going to have to play first base or third base. And that's not really possible given the current logjam at those positions. Two is his age. He's not young. I mean, and he wants a multi-year deal. You can't give him a multi-year deal. It's just not going to be feasible. You already did it to Fowler, and you overpaid for Fowler. I mean, there's no really arguing that. I don't know. I don't think you can do it to an older player like Edwin Encarnacion either. Let me look up his age. I should have.
He's 34.
34. Yeah, I don't want him for 3 or 4 years.
I'd say
Unless
what
he's
if
a DH.
if he hits 40 home runs, I'd take him for 4 years. He's an above average defender at first base at his age.
He is, but he's probably not going to be that here soon. If you put him in DH, he can probably hit 40 home runs a season, and that's fine, and every team should want that. But with him playing every single day, I think that is probably going to take a wear on him, and that's why you don't see him signing with anybody, because any National League team doesn't want that.
Here's the thing, and I don't really disagree with you at all, but I think we have to look at some other things that explain the fact that he could still hit 40 bombs playing first base every single day. Miguel Cabrera. Gifted athlete, by far a gifted athlete. Nobody compares to Miguel Cabrera. But Miguel Cabrera plays first base every single day, hits 40 bombs. Matter of fact, he played third base for a whole year, hit 40 bombs. Now, was not a great defender at third base by any stretch of the imagination, but is a good defender at first base. He's a little bit younger, so you have to take that into account. What I'm saying is I think with Edwin Encarnacion playing every day at first base, not only does it keep him in good enough shape to go out and play every single day because he has to keep himself in that shape, but I think it keeps him locked and focused. Hey, I'm the first baseman of this team. I have to go out and perform and do what I have to do. Let's go do it. And I think that he can make that ballpark look small.
Oh, I think he can make any ballpark look small.
Because he made Toronto look small.
Yeah.
And Toronto's a big park.
Yeah. If the Cardinals can get him to a 1 or 2 year deal, sign him. Sign him now, please. I just don't think that's what he wants. Well, I know that that's what he doesn't want. And it would make sense for the Cardinals to sign him to a shorter deal because with the free agent classes coming up soon, you can get a lot of younger, better players, and then you can dump Encarnacion. He would make the order better. He would probably, I'm not gonna say he'd stabilize the defense, but he would make it formidable. I just don't think the years are there for him. Time is not on his side, and National League teams shouldn't want to have to give up a first baseman for a 33-year-old like that. I mean, I'm honestly a bit surprised an American League team hasn't signed him yet because he'd be a great DH.
Well, kind of what happened with that is Boston was tagged to him a lot. But they were like, hey, let's go out and we can sign a Mitch Moreland for cheap to kind of solidify the defense at first because Mitch Moreland is a great defender at first base. Pablo Sandoval lost like 300 pounds, so he's going to play third. They traded Travis Shaw, so he's going to play third. But with them signing Mitch Moreland, guess who leaves to fill Poppy's shoes, which I think is going to do a great job? That leaves Hanley Ramirez to do Big Poppy's job. And I think if you have a Hanley Ramirez, who, by all means, and I noticed last year, bulked up and probably gained 100 pounds of pure muscle. That dude was big last year. Mm-hmm. That's a big dude. So you're talking about a guy like that who could bulk up even more and just focus on hitting and is going to destroy pitching. Because he was doing it as a shortstop, was destroying pitching. Now all he's got to do is focus on hitting. Are you freaking kidding me? So, hey, Edwin Encarnacion, well, sorry, you're not coming to Boston. Bye-bye. Now I think a team that could really sign him, that I think would be a smart sign, is Baltimore. But
if they don't bring back Trumbo, yeah.
But again, you're talking about the years. Because I tell you what, if Trumbo makes that ballpark look small, Edwin Encarnacion is going to make that park look like a Little League field.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: is I think I'm going against you a little bit. I think if you can get Edwin Encarnacion maybe on a 3-year deal, I think you do it.
And the thing about him is that his stock is dropping. The more he goes unsigned, the more likely it is you can get a short-term deal out of him. Yeah, it was like Dexter Fowler last season. He was just sitting out there for a long time. He's like, okay, you know what? Let's go to the Cubs for 1 year, and then hopefully that'll make my stock rise. And that's exactly what happened because he got a whole crap ton of money from the Cardinals. You could see Encarnacion do the exact same thing. Oh shit, no one's going to sign me. Okay, well let's go to the Cardinals for 1 or 2 years, and then hopefully my stock will rise. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, I think 3 years you do it, hands down, no question. 4 years.
I say no for 4. 3 depending on the money. 2 for sure.
I like I said, I think 3 years you do it without a doubt. I think if he's wanting 3 years, you do it. Because I also think that gives you some leeway as to what you can do with some other pieces. 4 years, I would lean towards no. Not a definite no. I'd lean towards more of no, like an 80 to 20. 80 no, 20 yes. But at least a discussion is there for 4, I think. The thing is the Cardinals were always like, oh, we need home runs. We have no power. Well, last year all he had was power, and you see how that went. Not very well. You had Moss that went like 0 for 500.
102, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was terrible. Matter of fact, we were at the game that broke his streak.
Yeah.
And he hit a home run. I think Edwin Encarnacion not only does he put power in your lineup, but he solidifies your defense, but he also can hit for average, too. He's he's like a 280 hitter, I think. Something like that. But with 40 bombs, it can drive in 100. I mean, who says no to that?
Yeah.
Nobody. I mean, the only person that says no to that is when he's like, oh, I need 10 years at $400 million.
Yeah, when he wants Pujols money.
Yeah, at 34. Like, no, you're not going to get that. Go home. Leave us alone. 3 years at what? I mean, you're probably going to at least have to do like 70.
3 years, I'd probably say 80.
Yeah, you're talking 80, 90 million, yeah. I mean, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, but a lot of money that can possibly drive you straight through the playoffs into a World Series.
If the Cardinals, I think, and this is my last point, if the Cardinals sign him, I'm not going to say that they've caught the Cubs, But the gap's not going to be 17 games like it was last season. That division was going to be competitive heading into September, which it was not competitive heading into September. It wasn't even competitive heading into July of this past season. If the Cardinals sign Encarnacion, then it's going to be a hell of a fun division to watch.
And here's the thing, too, why my last point on the Matt Adams thing, I think he hit like 3-something with 3 home runs, 13 RBIs as a pinch hitter. So you have him coming off the bench that could just, you know what? I feel like flicking one out. Let's just do it real quick. Let's send the fans home happy. So you keep Matt Adams. I think that Matt Adams is still a key piece to your lineup, but I think you also have to say bye to like a Jed Jerko or to a Johnny Peralta. But I think if the deal's out there and the money sounds right, Edwin Encarnacion, and then your lineup completely changes for the best, hands down. So that's it. That's all we have. Today, like I said, not a whole lot of information. We were kind of dragging it out. We had a lot of good points. One other thing that, I speak for Paul and for me, and we want to wish everybody very safe and happy holidays if you're against all that crap. But I'm going to say Merry Christmas. A very Merry Christmas to you guys. I hope Santa comes and gives you lots of joy and gifts. I know I will. I hope Paul will as well. So thank you guys for all the support. We appreciate it very, very much. This has been the 11 Inning Stretch, recorded on December 20th. Have a very Merry Christmas, and we will see you guys next time.